Good evening humans, Tyrannosaurusmoth here, and tonight we're taking a look at the Universal Monsters The Mummy figure from NECA Toys. The Mummy is essentially just a really rich zombie, however I will be damned if the presentation is not just badass. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right in this review. Let's do this. Aesthetically speaking, the Mummy looks absolutely phenomenal. I've got to say, NECA has been absolutely knocking it out of the park with the Universal Monsters line, at least from the two I have. I skipped over Wolfman just because that one didn't appeal to me as much. However, the Mummy is a very, very basic design, but they absolutely use that as a challenge to just make it as badass as possible and highlight every single detail, and they absolutely nailed that. So like just looking at it, I mean, obviously mainly the body is the wraps, but look at all like that just insane amount of sculpt, like absolutely immaculate detail, and the wash just brings everything out beautifully. It looks perfectly aged. We can look at the feet, and you can see the little toes poking out there, and a nice gloss on that as well, which kind of works well against the mostly matte finish of the rest of it. We look at the hands, and just excellent detail work once again. The paints just blend perfectly. You can see that the ring there is actually really well painted, just so well done. Even on the underside of the hand, you can see just even more detailing and just kind of that attention to detail, especially in terms of like just the way it's rotting. And obviously there's a black and white version of this figure. This is the color one, and there's not going to be probably a terrible amount of difference, but the biggest difference you'll probably see is here in the head. And we'll look at there's two other head sculpts with this, which we'll look at in the next section. But I mean, even this is the one that comes out of the package, and just insane amount of detail. And the subtlety I think they got with the colors, especially for a mass-produced figure, just absolutely gorgeous. Like, cannot believe they got this good of a sculpt to come out this well with the paint. Like, everything about this came out just so well. I really can't stress that enough. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say about aesthetics. For accessories, we get an absolutely beautiful loadout here, as you can see. So let's dive right into it. Let's start out with hands, and right out of the box, we just kind of get some kind of flat, just kind of straight out relaxed hands. And went over detail in the last section. Right hand has the ring on it, of course. And then for extra hands, we get two different right hands. And honestly, one is just kind of more splayed out fingers, as you can see, all that beautiful detail absolutely retained there. And then we get another right hand as slightly more, I guess, desperate, more grasping. And you can see these side by side, so just kind of different degrees of open, I guess, which is what it is, and definitely cool. I will admit right here that I have not seen the Universal The Mummy movie. It is on my list, and perhaps I'm going to make that a absolute priority this Halloween season, because that is kind of a glaring omission, I think, in my horror movie viewing. But I digress. We're moving on to heads at this point, and right of the box, as we saw in the last section, we just kind of get the closed eyes and the very peaceful looking mummy head, the absolutely just phenomenal likeness of Boris Karloff, and then we get a much more expressive head. We got the open mouth, the eyes are open, the eyes are slightly rolled back, but detail just, again, like perfect in pretty much all three of these. Like I gotta say, like, I'm kind of gushing here, but like this is honestly one of the best NECA figures I've seen. And then we get to the next head, which is just the eyes slightly open, the mouth closed, and just beautifully done. Again, same attention to detail, all three heads, pretty much seamless. So fantastic job to NECA and their sculptors and painters. Then we come on to a couple of just extra pieces of tape, which you can pretty much drape over whatever limb or wherever on the mummy, and really well done. As you can see, that wash continues here. So very consistent as well, which I think is very important, especially for a piece like this. Then we move on to, I'm actually gonna go do the box first, because you get this straight out of the box. And you can see you got some of the writing there on the top. Really nice clean design on the side, the beautiful gold paint, and we have the depiction sections here on the corners. I cannot remember which god that is. I apologize at the moment. And that does open, so a big open space. You got the trim of gold here at the top, which is also fantastic. And that comes with this piece of papyrus, or a piece of paper with this nice scroll, absolutely beautiful. And you can see very, very clear details all around, all the way. And even on the back, like, it looks authentic. They got the quality. The paper feels super nice as well. Like, I can't stress how good that is. So really, they kind of spared no expense here, and just really excellent overall. So that's accessories. Articulation for the mummy is far, far better than it has any right to be. And yeah, as you can see, like, you know, some good splits. Balance is not what I would hope, but the feet are rounded, and that generally makes it a little bit harder to get that stability. However, let's break down the articulation head to toe as we do. So head is on our kind of barbell joint, starting in the head, coming into the neck. The neck is a fully separate piece, which honestly gives us some absolutely fantastic up, some beautiful, beautiful down, and some really, really good tilt. So just really fantastic range all around. NECA has come a long way with whole like head neck articulation, and fully respect that. We come down to the arms. We are on our hinge and swivel. Come into just about our T, maybe a little bit before. Come down here. We get our bicep swivel. For whatever reason, the right arm on mine is a little bit loose and lower. I'm not sure what that is. That seems to be an issue with the plastic, but just, again, something to keep an eye out for. We come to our elbow. We are double jointed, and we are folding completely in half, which actually does allow you to get the hands crossed over the chest, which will be important when that sarcophagus accessory comes out in a few months, I believe. Hands are on hinge and swivel and all horizontal. We have a ball joint here at the diaphragm coming around, not too much on the forward and back. That's something NECA hasn't really conquered yet, but there is movement there, and there is rotation. We get another ball joint here at the waist, full rotation, and a little bit of forward and back as well. So our combined crunch is about there, and back is about there. I mean, it's the mummy, it doesn't need to go crazy. So that's about it there. We come down to the hips, and as you saw in the intro, full splits. No reason for it to do that, but I love that it does. With a stand, it will do those kicking poses, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna utilize that. We can also kick all the way forward as well, which is really, really nice. We are single jointed at the knees, so we're coming to just about 90. Again, it's the mummy, so that's totally acceptable. There is also some swivel there as well, as you can see. We come to our feet, and we can actually point perfectly. Come up just slightly, and some really generous rocker, definitely more than I would expect from a NECA figure. So absolutely fantastic articulation. Getting into size comparisons, here he is with some other NECA horror figures. With some Hasbro. With some imports. With some monsters. Finally, with an articulated icons Oni, and yours truly in human form as an articulated icons ninja. So my final thoughts on the Universal Monsters, the mummy figure from NECA Toys, is that this is an absolute thing of beauty. Honestly, hands down, I said this earlier in the review, this is easily one of the best things that NECA has produced, certainly in my opinion. Just between the articulation, the sculpt paint, the accessories, just everything flows absolutely beautifully. It's a pleasure to articulate, and just, yeah, it's just a fun figure, and that's what this is all about. Yeah, you really can't beat that. So honestly, if you're a horror fan, if you like the mummy specifically, or just like you're looking for a really cool figure for the shelf, absolutely pick this up. And I have not seen this in the wild yet, though I'm sure it's probably shown up in Targets and or Walmarts. So definitely keep your eyes out. But beyond that, it is definitely showing up online. I got mine through Big Bad Toy Store. So I will be including links in the description below to where you can pick up yours from a few of my favorite online retailers, including Big Bad Toy Store. So please check those out. Please check those out if you are interested. And beyond that, I want to thank you so much for watching. And if you found this review informative and somewhat entertaining, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and or sharing. If you want to take it to the next level and help me even more, There'll be ways to do that in the bottom of the description. So please, please, please check those out. And all of that being said, ultra thanks to you one last time for watching, and I hope you take care of yourself, take care of those around you, and most importantly, stay weird, simians.